for our first show tonight. And right now, I don't know the score, really don't. Right now, no further ado, Jim Croce.
I'm using these finger picks. This is both Jim and Maury used for their guitar duo that they did when they were on the road. Specifically the thumb pick, you'll always see Jim Croce playing with a white thumb pick. I learned to play guitar by listening to Jim Croce, James Taylor, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and all of them used finger-style guitar playing. And the song that was popular the night that Jim died was this one.
It's been 51 years since the plane crash of Jim Croce in Louisiana. I went back to the spot. I took a Beach 18. I went back to the spot and I played Time in a Bottle on that spot. I recorded it. I spent 2 days in that town researching the plane crash of Jim Croce. We just had the anniversary. September 20th, 2024 was the 51st anniversary of the plane crash and the loss of Jim Croce, his band, his publicist, and all the people and the pilot on board that airplane. I'm going to show you just a little bit of video. I'm going to save most of this for a full-length documentary that I'm going to upload a little bit later on. Here's a little bit of video just to give you a little bit of a tease, then I'm going to tell you what really happened.
Here we are at the spot, the exact spot where Jim Croce died in 1973. This is a Beach 18 and it's sitting facing basically north on the direction that the accident airplane ended up hitting. And I'm going to play a Jim Croce song out here with the Beach 18. This particular one is just a few serial numbers difference. It's an E18S, just like the one Jim Croce died in. And this is the exact piece of ground where the airplane came to rest here that night.
So I got the recording from the concert that was played that night. It was northeastern state, Louisiana, a little college town. They invited Jim Croce and his band to come in and play an evening concert. It lasted almost an hour, and they played 10 songs. I have a copy, an audio cassette copy of that entire recording, all 10 songs. What is the only song not played on that set list that night? Well, it's Time in a Bottle. And what's the reason that they didn't play Time in a Bottle? It's because they saved it for the encore. Well, the truth is, after this concert, there was a little girl in the audience who was the sheriff's daughter who had taken a shining to somebody in the band, and the sheriff was not happy about it. When the band broke for their encore, they were planning to come back out on stage and play their #1 song, Time in a Bottle. That's when the sheriff informed them there would be no encore. You guys better get back to your airplane, get in your airplane, and if you guys don't get in your airplane and get gone, we're going to drug sniff your airplane and haul you guys to jail if we find anything. Well, that made the band scramble, and they called the pilot. They had already reserved 8 hotel rooms at the local hotel. Room 104 was where the pilot was. They called him. He was asleep in his room. Here is room 104. They called him. He had no ride to the airport. There was no Uber and there was no cab. So he ran with his suitcase back to the airport. He met them at the plane. They threw everything in the airplane and they fired up in a hurry. They were in a hurry to get out of town, and that's truly what happened. The pilot fired up both engines, taxied out for runway 16, rounded the corner, and pushed the power up. 4,000-foot runway. The airplane, this is a Beach 18, this is an E18S. It did not clear the trees at the far end of the runway.
The Beach 18, when all of the folks got on board with the pilot, they started at this point here on the ramp. The pilot hurriedly cranked up the engines. They taxied out to the edge of 7 and 25, runway 7 and 25. He turned right, he rode along the 7 and 25 till he got to the intersection of runway 16 and 34, which you can see off in the distance right over here. And then he turned, and without stopping, the story goes, without locking his brakes up to check his magnetos. He hit that intersection rolling, and he was checking his magnetos on his way down the runway as the aircraft started gaining momentum and speed, and he started flying. Finally, probably before he got off the end of that 4,000-foot 1634 runway at that time, and the challenge for him then was to try to ascend to a height that would have got him over the trees, which he probably couldn't see because it was at dark and he was unfamiliar with the aircraft. And off the departure end, the pecan trees was the eventual issue, where he started to make a crosswind turn and then apparently stuck his wingtip, his left wingtip, into the top of one of those pecan trees.
I'll save all the rest of the details for a documentary later on, but I got a lot of video footage from that town, those people, the people that handled the bodies, the people that handled the wreckage, the first responders, the college people. I was there at the gymnasium. Here's a little bit of video from the gymnasium. This is the spot where the last Jim Croce concert occurred, September 20th of 1973.